In this video, you're going to be understanding 3 important alignments for the proper practice of Anuloma Viloma. For the practice to bring its true benefits, it has to be brought with all the different and the subtle aspects, because when you talk about pranayama, it's a metaphysical thing. It's not something that, as we're doing some kind of workout, that we can feel, oh, my arm is getting bigger, my chest is being pumped, I'm losing weight. It's really this more subtle and metaphysical dimension. And for that, there is certain very important and key elements that we have to bring to our practice of alternating nostril breathing to be in this dimension of getting the results that we want. Even Satkara Asevito, which is mentioned in one of the sutras, that to have the establishment of the practice, it has to be done in the proper direction. And Anuloma Viloma, as we have talked in some other videos, it's about to establishing a certain harmony in which we have this state of balance, establishing at the pranic level, in which balance means balance between dualities, or balance between left and right, so that we are in this capacity of interacting with life in a healthy or sane or in presence or not disturbed. And Anuloma Viloma has this characteristic in which the nostrils, in which if you make your own self-analysis, you can inhale and exhale for both nostrils, and you're going to see that there is one nostril that's going to be more close than the other. You see the inflow and outflow of air, it's not going to be the same. So how can we bring it about this balance and establish that, sustain that balance, is what Anuloma Viloma is going to be supporting us. And one of the things I would like to mention, it's about how can we establish the physical platform so it helps to bring this state of balance. And for that, body should be as far as possible in a symmetrical posture. So if you see sometimes if you are in half lotus and one leg is going to be kind of leaning and passive, it will create a kind of a polarity. You're going to be feeling more towards one side or more towards the other, or to the front or to the back, which is not be supporting the practice in its optimal way. So as far as possible, symmetrical nature of the body and symmetrical at its core, so that you're not feeling any kind of difference between any kind of dualities, whether left, right, front or back. Then pranayama is not a breathing exercise. It's much more deeper than that. It's a pranic alignment in which the consciousness, which manifests into nature and has this medium of prana for one of the levels of manifestation, how this process can have such harmony in which there is a union of my individual life energy and the life energy of the whole. And for that, it's very important that there is a not triggering of the breathing. So what I mean by triggering the breathing is like this. So if you see, I'm kind of bringing my own way of breathing. It's not like the natural way it happens. If it's natural, what's going to be happening? So if you see, it's just the natural way of breathing. As inhalations needs to happen, it's happening. As exhalation needs to happen, they are also happening. And I'm just facilitating with my nostrils. So meaning I'm not bringing any intensity, any doership. It's just my breathing is happening. It's happening in me. And I'm just facilitating this happening. That brings to the dimension of aligning with the happening, which is, of course, yoga. And another important point, so this was the second point, the third point would be Anuloma Viloma should have this alternativeness feature of the breathing. So if you compromise with that, to that extent, it will compromise also how we're going to be evolving and experience the practice. So let's say, for instance, if I'm inhaling for my left, and then I release, and then I have by both of my nostrils open, and then only then I change, and they do the same thing. So you see, there was a moment that both nostrils were open, and in the beginning, this is not, we can talk about the more advanced technique later. In the beginning, this is not so good, because what happens is you're going to be either inhaling for both nostrils or exhaling for both nostrils, which will compromise this alternativeness feature of the breathing. And what happens is, if you want to create a balance between the left and the right, if just one side is happening, it means that whatever needs to be released is going to be released. Then whatever is needed to be supplied is going to be supplied independently. If both nostrils are open and this nostril is closed, both nostrils are open, what happens is that instead of giving the full independency for one side, it will have a kind of a support one of the other. So to that extent, our practice is going to be compromised. So yeah, so we can pay attention to these 3 points. So the first thing is, as we're establishing our positioning, symmetrical nature of the body, which has its symmetry all the way for its core, we are not creating our own individual expression, we are merging with the happening, and that is merging because I'm merging how the breath is happening by itself, as spontaneous and as per requirement as it is. And I'm not creating any gaps, it's something like this. First I close, then when both are closed, then I open and I release. And for that, I'm in this mode of having this alternativeness expression. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free, and I see you in the next videos.